and a very warm welcome to GS World's special Current Affairs program, The Current Affairs Show. I am Pragya Vatsal Mishra and I am here with all the highlights of the week. Let us take a quick look at the headlines. A white paper called Vision 2035 Public Health Monitoring in India has been issued by the Niti Aayog. It envisages India's concept of public health monitoring by integrating the three-level public health system with Ayushman Bharat. India remains in the top 10 for the second consecutive year in the latest Global Climate Change Performance Index (CCPI), with the country scoring 63.98 out of 100. However, the report said that India needs to focus more on renewable energy so that it can be used as a strategy to mitigate and deal with climate change. Indian Space Research Organisation is touching new dimensions in the field of technology. Recently, the Indian Space Research Organisation said that the Polar Satellite Launch Vehicle PSLV C-50 will launch the communication satellite CMS-01 from Satish Dhawan Space Centre at Sriharikota on December 17. The Defence Research and Development Organisation DRDO has successfully demonstrated communication between its two laboratories using quantum key distribution technology. The Defence Research and Development Laboratory (DRDL) and the Research Centre Imarat (RCI) were two laboratories that participated in the demonstration. Prime Minister Modi, in his message on the occasion of the 36th Foundation Day of the South Asian Association for Regional Cooperation (SAARC), called for a commitment to defeat the forces that support and nurture terrorism without naming Pakistan. Let us now look at the news in detail. Vision 2035 Public Health Monitoring in India. Recently, a white paper called Vision 2035 Public Health Monitoring in India has been issued by Niti Aayog. It envisages India's concept of public health monitoring by integrating the three-level public health system with Ayushman Bharat. It also emphasizes on increasing the capacity of specialist services and laboratories across the country, increasing readiness to take actions at all levels by making India's public health monitoring system more responsive and futuristic. Citizen-friendly public health monitoring system will ensure the privacy of the individual by creating a customer feedback mechanism, creating a revised data sharing mechanism to improve disease identification, prevention and control between the centre and the states. India aims to provide regional and global leadership for the management of such a public health disaster that raises concern internationally. The white paper describes India's 2035 approach to public health surveillance through the integration of a three-tier public health system in Ayushman Bharat. It suggested personal electronic health records to be monitored based on surveillance. Public health monitoring is an important task to provide care at primary, secondary and tertiary levels. This type of monitoring provides information for action. It also outlined the need for an expanded referral network and the capacity of laboratories. Accurate and real-time health data can be obtained by using new techniques of data analysis and better use of data science. Climate Change Performance Index 2021. India remains in the top 10 for the second consecutive year in the latest Global Climate Change Performance Index (CCPI), with the country scoring 63.98 out of 100. However, the report said that India needs to focus more on renewable energy so that it can be used as a strategy to mitigate and deal with climate change. It should be noted that India was ranked 9th in the index last year, while now it has dropped one place. No country managed to get first, second or third place in the top 10. Sweden on the 4th, UK on the 5th, Denmark on the 6th, Morocco on the 7th, Norway on the 8th, Chile on the 9th. Even though India has slipped one place this year from the 9th place in 2019-20, but it has steadily improved its ranking from 31st in 2014 towards climate protection. According to the index, no country made little effort to achieve the goals of the 2015 Paris Agreement to keep global warming below 2 degrees Celsius. China ranks 33rd, the largest current emitter of greenhouse gases. The other 6 G20 countries, including the US, Canada, South Korea, Russia, Australia and Saudi Arabia, are ranked at the bottom of the index. The US is the worst performing country with the 61st place on this list. Saudi Arabia is ranked 60th, Iran 59th, Canada 58th, and Australia 54th, and Russia 52nd. To assess the performance of 57 countries in the European Union, the list has been prepared in 4 categories, including greenhouse gas emissions 40%, renewable energy 20%, energy use 20%, includes climate policy 20%. These 57 countries and the European Union collectively account for about 90% of the global greenhouse gas emissions. About Climate Change Performance Index (CCPI), it has been developed by the voluntary body German Watch and the New Climate Institute, Germany, with Climate Action Network (CAN) International. It is an important tool to increase transparency in international climate policies. It helps to compare climate protection and efforts and the progress made by each country. It is being published every year since 2005. Despite doing well on this annual CCPI report, no country fulfills the Paris Agreement's commitment to limit temperature rise to 1.5 degrees Celsius and keep global temperature rise below 2 degrees Celsius by the end of this century. Communication Satellite CMS-1. Indian Space Research Organisation ISRO is touching new dimensions in the field of technology. Recently, the Indian Space Research Organisation said that the Polar Satellite Launch Vehicle PSLV-C50 will launch the communication satellite CMS-01 from the Satish Dhawan Space Centre at Sriharikota on December 17th. PSLV-C50 is the 52nd mission of PSLV. About CMS-01. This communication satellite is designed to provide service in extended C-band. It will cover the mainland of India, Andaman and Nicobar, and Lakshadweep Islands. CMS-01 is the 42nd communication satellite of India. What is PSLV? Polar Satellite Launch Vehicle, that is PSLV, is an advanced launch system powered by ISRO. Through this, Indian scientists launched satellites into space orbit, and that is why it has been developed. PSLV is also used for launching foreign satellites apart from Indian satellites. It is a 4-stage engined rocket powered by solid and liquid fuels alternately with 6 booster motors and strapped on the first stage to deliver high speeds during the initial flight. The PSLV is also capable of sending small-sized satellites into geostationary orbit. Quantum key distribution. Recently, the Defense Research and Development Organization (DRDO) has successfully demonstrated communication between its 2 laboratories using quantum key distribution technology. The Defense Research and Development Laboratory (DRDL) and the Research Center Imarat (RCI) were 2 laboratories that participated in the demonstration. What is this technique? Specific encryption relies on traditional mathematics and is sufficiently secure from hacking. Quantum computing refers to a new era of faster and more powerful computers, and this theory is capable of breaking current levels of encryption. Quantum key distribution works by using photons, the particles that transmit light, to transfer data. Its most important application is to prevent eavesdropping of information channels using quantum cryptography. The most developed application of quantum cryptography is quantum key distribution. Importance of this technique. Its encryption is unbreakable, and its main reason is the exchange of data through photons. A photon cannot be completely copied, and any attempt to measure it will stop its flow. This means that the person trying to intercept the data will be easily traced. Its implications for cybersecurity are significant, making business safer. Quantum cryptography is a technique for securing the distribution of symmetric encoded key for communication security. In this technique, the encryption key is sent as a quantum bit via a fiber optic cable. South Asian Association for Regional Cooperation (SAARC). Recently, Prime Minister Modi, in his message on the occasion of the 36th Foundation Day of the South Asian Association for Regional Cooperation (SAARC), called for a commitment to defeat the forces that support and nurture terrorism without naming Pakistan. According to Prime Minister Narendra Modi, India will continue its support for the economic, technological, cultural, and social development of the South Asian region. It is noteworthy that the SAARC conference was to be held in Islamabad in 2016, but after the attack on the army on 18 September in Uri, India refused to participate in it. During the first summit held in Dhaka, On 8 December 1985, the charter was signed by the heads of the SAARC countries to establish the South Asian Association for Regional Cooperation. About SAARC. SAARC is an organization of 8 countries in South Asia whose full name is South Asian Association for Regional Cooperation. The headquarters and secretariat of this organization is located in Kathmandu, Nepal. SAARC is a shortened form of the organization's English name, South Asian Association for Regional Cooperation. The organization, formed on 8 December 1985, aims to achieve peace and progress in South Asia by mutual cooperation. The SAARC founding members are India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Nepal, Maldives, and Bhutan. Afghanistan is the latest member of the South Asian Association for Regional Cooperation, which became its member during the 13th Annual Summit held in 2005. Importance of SAARC. SAARC is one of the most densely populated and most fertile regions in the world. SAARC countries have a shared tradition, dress, food, culture, and political aspects which coordinate their actions. It accounts for 3% of the world's area, 21% of the world's population, and 3.8% of the global economy, which is US $2.9 trillion worth. This can bring more economic integration and prosperity for the Act East policy of India, mainly in the service sector. It can also compete with China through Nepal, Bhutan, Maldives, and Sri Lanka, engaging in development process and economic cooperation. Submarine optical fiber cable connectivity. Recently, the Union Cabinet approved underwater optical fiber cable connectivity scheme between the mainland of Kochi and Lakshadweep Islands. According to an official release, the project envisages providing a direct telecom link between Kochi and 11 islands of Lakshadweep via a dedicated submarine optical fiber cable. The estimated cost of implementation of this project is Rs 1,072 crores, including operational expenses for 5 years. The project will be funded from the Universal Service Obligation Fund. The submarine connectivity project will play an important role in delivery of e-good governance services to the citizens at their home. In addition, capacity development of fisheries, coconut-based industries, tourism, education, and development through distance education and telemedicine facilities will help the healthcare sector significantly. This project will help in setting up many enterprises, promoting e-commerce activities and knowledge sharing in educational institutions. The islands of Lakshadweep have the potential to become a big hub in terms of logistics services. What is an ocean communication cable? Inter-ocean communication cable means optical fiber cable laid at sea level, through which telecommunication signals are sent between the mainland and the terrestrial parts of the seas and the oceans. Elements of optical fiber are typically coated with plastic layers and embedded in a protective tube suitable for the environment. Importance of inland cables. The reliability of inland cables is very high, and in the event of cable breakage, various other methods of data communication are available. Inland cables have data transmission capability of terabytes per second, while satellites typically transmit data at speeds of only 1000 megabytes per second and have higher latency rates. Draft Indian Ports Bill 2020. Recently, the Ministry of Ports, Shipping and Waterways has released the Draft Indian Ports Bill 2020 for public consultation. The bill will repeal the Indian Ports Act 1908, Law 15, and replace it. The proposed bill will provide measures for conservation of ports, given the large number of non-operational ports. This will ensure greater investment in the Indian marine sector and ports by creating a comprehensive regulatory framework for the creation of new ports and management of existing ports. The Draft Indian Ports Bill 2020 focuses on the best use of the Indian coastline through the structural progress and sustainable development of Indian ports to attract investment and effective administration and management of ports. The latest provisions of the proposed bill will ensure safety, pollution control, performance standards, and stability of ports. The bill ensures that all the latest conventions and protocols to which India is a party are also suitably incorporated. This will truly promote maritime security and safety. The bill will also fill the gaps in the scientific development of ports and the port networks. This will help in achieving the goal of government's Self-Reliant India initiative by increasing ease of doing business and accelerating self-reliant domestic investment in the maritime sector. The bill broadly seeks to create an enabling environment for the progress and sustainable development of the port sector in India in the following ways. By the formation of Marine Port Regulatory Authority. Preparation of National Port Policy and National Port Plan is in consultation with the governments of coastal states, maritime boards of states, and other stakeholders, to set up special maritime tribunals such as the Maritime Port Tribunal and the Maritime Ports Appellate Tribunal to curb any non-competitive action in the port area and act as an expeditious and affordable grievance redressal mechanism. Anthrax and elephant deaths. Anthrax has recently been confirmed to be the cause of the death of 2 female elephants a week ago in Joypur rainforest in Assam. Be aware that 2 elephants died after eating anthrax spores, and anthrax can remain buried underground for 25 to 30 years. Earlier in the year 2019, 2 Asiatic buffaloes were killed in Antibax's Pobitora Wildlife Sanctuary due to anthrax disease. What is anthrax? Anthrax is a deadly infectious disease caused by bacteria Bacillus anthracis. It can affect humans as well as many animals such as goats, sheep, horses, and cows, etc. This infection can be caused by exposure to animals, wool, meat, or skin. It does not spread directly from one infected animal or person to another. It is spread by spores. Anthrax bacteria has been used by many countries as bioterrorism. Anthrax bacteria are present in the soil and remain dormant for many years. Symptoms and infection. Blisters in the skin, chest pain, vomiting, diarrhea, and fever are the symptoms of this disease in humans. It can also affect the respiratory system of humans, followed by pneumonia and severe or often fatal respiratory degeneration. In humans, infection is often caused by consuming anthrax-infected meat. Recent example of bioterrorism. Anthrax is used deliberately in biological warfare by terrorists to infect. Some time ago, it was spread in America. 5 people were killed and 22 were taken ill. Vaccine by India. In June last year, scientists from DRDO and JNU developed a powerful anthrax vaccine. According to them, this vaccine is better than the existing vaccine because it can produce anthrax toxin as well as immune response to spores. Global Climate Summit. Recently, Prime Minister Narendra Modi addressed the Global Climate Summit on the occasion of the 5th anniversary of the historic Paris Climate Agreement. The Paris Agreement is an important international treaty on climate change. For the first time, all the countries united under legally binding agreement for ambitious and beneficial efforts to tackle climate change and its side effects. The UK held a virtual Global Climate Summit on the 5th anniversary of the Paris Climate Agreement. Prime Minister Narendra Modi said that by 2022, our renewable energy capacity will be 175 gigawatts. By the year 2030, we have targeted to take it to 450 gigawatts. He has said that we have reduced the intensity of emissions by 21% from the 2005 level. Our solar power capacity was 2.63 gigawatts in 2014, which has now increased to 36 gigawatts in 2020. Our renewable energy capacity is ranked 4th in the world. He also said that India has led 2 major initiatives on the world stage. In the year 2047, India, as an independent modern nation, will celebrate the 100th anniversary of its independence. Paris Climate Agreement. The Paris Agreement aims to reduce emissions of greenhouse gases, thereby limiting the temperature rise from 1.5 degrees Celsius to 2 degrees Celsius of pre-industrial levels by the end of the century. It may be noted that the Paris Agreement was accepted by the 196 countries at COP21 held in Paris on 12 December 2015. This agreement came into effect from 4 November 2016. The agreement operates on a 5-year cycle. Developed countries provide financial assistance to underdeveloped and developing countries. The government of a country cannot fulfill these objectives on its own. Hence, the role of various institutions is considered important in this agreement. Meaning of America's separation from this agreement. The US is separated from the Paris Agreement. The United States is the second largest emitter of greenhouse gases in the world after China. China emits 30%, America 13.5%, and India 6.8% greenhouse gases. The US was to reduce emissions of greenhouse gases by 26 to 28% by 2025. Now, this goal seems difficult. It will have financial implications. America had the highest participation in the Green Climate Fund. The agreement required the developed countries to provide $100 billion in financial assistance to the fund to control climate change. 5th India Water Impact Summit. Recently, the 5th India Water Impact Summit was inaugurated virtually. The program was inaugurated by Minister of State for Jal Shakti, Ratan Lal Kataria. This conference aims at comprehensive analysis and overall management of local rivers and water bodies. It is being organized by the National Clean Ganga Mission and the Ganga River Basin Management and Learning Center. About this conference is an annual event. It discusses finding ideal solutions to some of the biggest problems related to water in the country. For the first time, this conference was organized in the year 2012. This year's theme is Arth Ganga, River Conservation Synchronized Development. The conference will have a comprehensive analysis and review of river rejuvenation and local river. There will also be a discussion about the Earth Ganga, that is how the river water conservation can be coordinated development. National Mission for Clean Ganga. The National Mission for Clean Ganga is the implementing part of the National Ganga River Valley Authority. It is a Ministry of Environment and Forest registered under the Societies Registration Act 1860 on 12 August 2011 as a society. Its mission is to ensure effective reduction of pollution and conservation of the Ganges River by adopting a river basin approach to promote coordinated intersectoral comprehensive planning and management. Also, to ensure minimum ecological flow in River Ganga with the aim of ensuring water quality and environmentally sustainable development. Shakti Act 2020. Recently, the State Cabinet has approved the draft of a bill to curb heinous crimes against women and children in Maharashtra. It has provisions for capital punishment for convicts, life imprisonment and heavy fines including stringent punishment and speedy trial of the case. In order to implement the proposed law in the state, the draft bill proposes to amend the relevant sections of the Indian Penal Code, CRPC and Protection of Children from Sexual Offences, POCSO Act. What are the provisions? This act provides for the death of a person convicted of a very serious and a hate crime. A time limit of 15 days has been fixed for the investigation of such a crime. In addition, the investigation can be extended for 7 more days in a special situation. Such hate crimes will be heard daily after the filling of the charge sheet in the court and will be completed within 30 days. The file will be completed and closed within 45 days of the sentencing, for which there was a period of 6 months in advance. Apart from this, there will be a provision for capital punishment and a provision has been made to provide financial compensation to the victim. For this, there will be a fine of up to Rs 100 lakhs, which will be for plastic surgery and facial reconstruction of the victim. It also added crimes like gang rape and misdemeanor, with a provision of a sentence of 12 years in the case of rape with a young girl below 16 years. Under the Shakti Act, it has been proposed that every district will have special courts, special police teams. Special institutions will be formed for the convenience of the victimized women and children. In the case of acid attack, the section will be non-bailable, in which the provision of punishment shall not be less than 10 years. Specific provisions related to social media. For misbehavior or exploitation of a woman by social media and any other means of communication, there is a provision of 2 years of punishment and a fine of 1 lakh has also been imposed. If the government employee refuses to cooperate with the investigation, then there is a provision of 6 months for that, which can be further extended to 2 years, and a fine may also be imposed. Section 354 of the IPC will add Section E, under which cases will be registered as cases of harassment, objectionable comments, and threats by social media, telephone, or other digital mediums. Facebook and antitrust law. Recently, the US federal and several state governments have filed a formal lawsuit against the Facebook company for trying to prevent unfair competition in the market. It alleged that the company misused its dominance in the digital market. The lawsuit urged that Facebook and its other platforms, Instagram and WhatsApp, be separated. The lawsuit is filed under US antitrust law. In the case filed against Facebook, the governments have to prove in court that the wrong conduct of this company had a bad effect on consumers or prevented competition in the market. In the case filed, the prosecution said that Facebook has made efforts to consolidate and continue its monopoly, which has not given consumers a competitive advantage. The lawsuit aims to curb Facebook's anti-competitive conduct and restore competition in the market. The charges against Facebook are mainly related to her buying Instagram and WhatsApp. Facebook bought Instagram in 2012 for $1 billion. In 2014, he bought WhatsApp for $19 billion. Prosecutors say that the Facebook company has been using its dominance and monopoly over the market to crush smaller competitors and keep them out of the race. He has collected vast amounts of data and money. This poses a threat in the market. Other issues: Facebook has become the second such large digital company, which the federal and state governments of America have recently taken to court on charges of violation of antitrust law. In October, the United States federal government and 11 states filed a similar lawsuit against Google. It alleged on Google that it has tried to stop the competition in the matter of online search and search advertising. The first such case started in the 1990s against the Microsoft company, whose decision came early in this century. What is the antitrust law? Antitrust laws are intended to protect consumers from the exploitative behavior of companies. Their aim is to maintain healthy competition in the market. Under this law, there is a provision for action in cases of suspicious business activities of companies, disturbances in market allocation, rigging of tenders, rigging of price fixing, and attempts to establish monopoly in the market. If the Facebook company loses in this lawsuit, it will undergo a fundamental change in its appearance. Antitrust laws of India. The Competition Act 2002 is the antitrust law of India. It has replaced the Monopolies and Restrictive Trade Practices Act of 1969. The Act prohibits anti-competition agreements, misuse of dominant position by enterprises, and regulates combinations, mergers and acquisitions adversely affecting or likely to affect competition within India. Under the provisions of this Act, the central government established the Competition Commission of India in 2003, which serves as the watchdog of the free market economy. Artificial intelligence and machine learning. Automated Banknote Processing Center. Recently, the Reserve Bank of India has decided to set up an Automated Banknote Processing Center (ABPC) in Jaipur amid increasing proliferation of currency notes. The center will work for the receipt, storage, and forwarding of banknotes. The RBI is the sole issuer of banknotes in the country and is also responsible for the management of the currency and all aspects of it. Coins are supplied to the RBI from 4 printing presses and 4 mints. Why the need? According to the RBI, the circulation of banknotes has increased threefold in volume from March 2001 to March 2019. It is expected to increase further in the coming years. In view of this, the need for an automated system for the receipt, storage, processing, and disposal of banknotes is felt. According to the RBI, cash is still an important mode of payment. With digital payments becoming increasingly popular, the number of banknotes is also increasing in trend with digital payments. Globally, the way banknotes are increasing, a similar trend is being seen in India. About the Automated Banknote Processing Center. It is equipped with an automated system for the receipt, storage, processing, and disposal of banknotes. Their work is related to the receipt, storage, and forwarding of banknotes. Its function is also to destroy bad notes. About the Reserve Bank of India. The Reserve Bank of India was established on April 1, 1935 as per the provisions of the Reserve Bank of India Act 1934. The central office of the Reserve Bank was initially established in Kolkata, which was permanently shifted to Mumbai in 1937. The central office is the office where the governor sits and where policies are set. It is the central bank of the country. Although initially privately owned, since nationalization in 1949, it is fully owned by the Government of India.